Welcome back to our journey through the stories of the Bible. The people of Israel had been walking for over a year. Behind them, Egypt and a lifetime of slavery. Ahead, a place they had only dreamed of, the Promised Land. God had brought them out of bondage with incredible power. He split the Red Sea. He gave them water from a rock and bread from heaven every single morning. Now, they were camped at Kadesh Barnea, right on the southern border of Canaan, the land God promised to their ancestors. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was finally within their grasp. But God didn't just tell them to charge in. He gave Moses a specific plan. Send some men to scout the land of Canaan, the land I'm giving to Israel. Choose one leader from each of the 12 tribes. Moses obeyed. He picked 12 respected leaders, including 2 men who had become very important: Caleb from the tribe of Judah and Joshua from the tribe of Ephraim. Before they left, Moses laid out their mission. Go north into the hills. See what the land is like. Check out the people. Are they strong or weak? Few or many? What about their towns? Are they fortified with walls or open? And the soil, is it fertile or poor? Are there trees? And do your best to bring back some of the fruit you find. It was late summer, the perfect time for ripe grapes. So the 12 spies set off. For 40 days they journeyed through Canaan. They walked through lush valleys and climbed steep hills. They saw the cities and inspected the countryside, taking notes on everything. The land was amazing. Crystal clear streams flowed everywhere. The fields were rich and full of life. Fruit trees grew in massive orchards. This was truly a land of plenty. In a valley called Eshcol, they found a grapevine with a cluster of grapes so huge that it took 2 men to carry it on a pole between their shoulders. They also gathered pomegranates and figs to bring back as proof of the land's bounty. After 40 days, they returned to the camp at Kadesh Barnea. The entire community of Israel gathered to hear their report. The air buzzed with excitement. Moses and Aaron stood at the front as the people pushed forward, desperate for news about their future home. The spies showed them the fruit they had brought. A gasp went through the crowd when they saw the size of the grape cluster. Then the spies began to speak. We went into the land where you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. The people started to smile. This new home sounded wonderful. But then the report took a dark turn. But the people who live there are powerful, one spy said. Their cities are fortified and very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The descendants of Anak were famous for being giants, men of incredible size and strength. The spies continued. The Amalekites live in the south. The Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. And the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan. A wave of fear started to spread through the crowd. Just then, Caleb stepped forward. He raised his voice to be heard over the rising panic. We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. But the other 10 spies who had gone with him shouted back, No, we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. Then they started spreading a bad report, a story designed to create fear. The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there were of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak. We felt like grasshoppers next to them, and that's what we must have looked like to them. The effect was immediate and devastating. That night, the entire community lifted their voices and wept. All night long, The sound of crying echoed through the camp. By morning, their sadness had curdled into anger and open rebellion. The people started complaining against Moses and Aaron. Their grumbling grew louder and more bitter. If only we had died in Egypt, or even here in the wilderness. They cried, "Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us be killed by the sword? Our wives and our children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?" Then someone shouted, "Let's choose a new leader and go back to Egypt." And the crowd roared in agreement. Moses and Aaron fell to their knees before the entire assembly, heartbroken by the people's total lack of faith. Then Joshua and Caleb stepped forward. In their anguish, they tore their clothes, a sign of deep distress. They spoke urgently to everyone. "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, He will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us." Joshua's voice rang out, strong and clear. "Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will devour them. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them." But the people wouldn't listen. Instead, they started talking about stoning Joshua and Caleb. At that exact moment, the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting. A brilliant, divine light shone before all the Israelites. The Lord spoke to Moses, "How long will these people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to believe in me, in spite of all the signs I have performed among them?" God was ready to strike them all down with a plague. But Moses pleaded with God, begging him to show mercy and forgive them, reminding him of his great love. The Lord listened to Moses and granted forgiveness. But there would be consequences. God declared his judgment. "Not one of you 20 years old or more who was counted in the census will enter the land I promised to give you." The only exceptions are Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. Then God explained their punishment. "Your bodies will fall in this wilderness. For 40 years you will wander, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explored the land. You will suffer for your unfaithfulness until the last of your bodies lies in the desert. As for your children, who you said would be taken as plunder, I will bring them in to enjoy the land that you have rejected." The 10 spies who had spread the bad report died right then and there from a plague before the Lord. Of the 12, only Joshua and Caleb survived. When Moses told the people God's judgment, they mourned deeply. Early the next morning, some of them had a change of heart. "We have sinned," they said. "We will go up to the place the Lord promised." But Moses warned them, "Why are you disobeying the Lord's command now? This will not succeed. Do not go up, because the Lord is not with you. You will be defeated by your enemies." But they didn't listen. They arrogantly marched toward the hill country, but the Ark of the Covenant and Moses did not go with them. The Amalekites and Canaanites who lived in those hills came down, attacked them, and beat them back. An entire generation would perish in the wilderness because they refused to trust God. The story of the 12 spies serves as a powerful lesson. 10 men looked at the promised land and saw only obstacles. 2 men looked at the very same land and saw God's promise. The difference wasn't in what they saw, but in where they placed their trust. The land hadn't changed. The enemies were real. The giants were tall. But Caleb and Joshua knew something the others had forgotten. God was greater than any giant they could ever face. Their faith wasn't just wishful thinking. It was trust in a God who had proven himself faithful, time and time again. The Israelites would spend the next 40 years wandering, but Caleb and Joshua would, eventually, enter the promised land. Caleb would be 85 years old when he finally claimed his inheritance, still strong and ready to drive out the giants. Faith sees the same obstacles as fear, but faith sees God standing right there beside us. Thanks for watching. If this story meant something to you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.